There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Twilight Highlight Zone, where we run down classic Twilight Zone episodes. I'm your host this time around. My name is Ben Hanson, and I'm joined by...
Jeff Cork.
Welcome, Jeff Cork.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
I have to say, this episode maybe expanding your definition of classic Twilight Zone episodes a little bit. We're ramping up the season, though. This is it.
This is it. We're going to cover 6 episodes this time, and then that is the end of the first season. I feel like it's a real milestone for us.
Yeah. We've really learned a lot about each other in this hot room.
Now let's go. Here we go.
You go first.
All right. This episode is called The Chaser. And for the quick summary, it is a man who's desperately in love with a lady named Leela.
Yep.
He then goes to a magic potion shop and gets a love potion from a creepy old guy. Mm-hmm. Uses it on Leela. She falls too madly in love with him.
Yep.
And just cannot even sustain her own life. She's so dependent on him.
Well, then he goes back to the creepy old man, played by old Quentin Tarantino, and he gives him glove cleaner, which is some kind of poison.
Yeah.
He's going to give it to the wife. He says, you got to do it immediately. Goes to the wife. He's going to poison her. And then, lo and behold, she's preggers.
And he drops the poison. And
there's like a comedic slide whistle sound or something almost.
As he doesn't murder his wife and child.
Yeah, exactly.
So he drops the potion.
She calls him Rabbit, too, by the way, when she says that, which is kind of strange.
What was that? I didn't know if that was some old code for pregnant. Anyway, so he's stuck forever with a wife who loves him too much.
Holy matrimony.
Yeah.
Forever really means forever in the Twilight Zone, I guess.
So this episode, I think, is the best example
of
something that we brought up in episode 1, which is nice try, asshole.
Yep. When you first meet this guy, he's so desperately in love. He's in the phone booth trying to call her. And there's a line of people that seem like a line of people that would be in a casting agency. There's an old lady holding a big box and some blonde bimbo.
And the blonde bimbo says, he doesn't even talk. He just dials. Maybe he has a dialect, is her joke.
It's pretty good.
No, it is not good at all. Rod Serling needs to stick to sci-fi. Leave the jokes alone.
Oh, well. But anyway, he's so in love that he finally gets her and he comes over. He's kissing the door and she's opening it a crack and she's clearly not into him.
Right. But she's pretty stuck up. She's pretty sure of herself.
Yeah.
She wants nothing to do with this dude.
Yeah. She says, take a flying leap at the moon. She says.
Jump off the earth, she says.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah, so I also wrote down in my notes that the wizard man looks like an elderly Quentin Tarantino.
You did?
Yes, I really did, because I thought the exact same thing when I first saw him.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. So did that make sense to you? He kept recommending, right out of the gate,
glove
the old
cleaner.
Wizard guy's hey, check out this glove cleaner. Forget about your magic love potions. Yeah, I got that for you, but it's super cheap. But glove cleaner, that's $1,000, and you should buy that right now. You should
I don't know.
Kill her right now.
Yeah.
And save yourself the hassle.
And then the actual love potion was only $1. He's it's as common as anything. She'll love you more than anything. He's talking about she goo eyes all the time and stuff. And you could tell immediately, don't do it. Do not do this. Yeah. It's a terrible idea.
But I like the idea that the wizard has done this so many times and it's always the exact same situation. You think he'd bump up the price of that love thing? Well,
maybe you get him in cheap and then the exit costs so much. You know what I mean? The $1,000. Who would want to be around someone who wants to be around you? Ultimately, I think that's the lesson of this episode.
I thought the desperation of the guy in the beginning was very well done. Maybe it's just because I've been there so many times in my life. I don't know if this...
It was a rotary dial phone, too, which had to be agonizing to keep doing that.
Fingers half falling off.
Yeah, Klondike 5 operator, however they did in the old days.
The lady, once she falls under the spell, is just... over the top, she can't even choose where to sit because she needs his permission to do it. This is another example where I thought back to that time that Rod Serling appeared on screen talking about how great he is at writing women.
Yeah.
Saying hey, when are you going to load to this woman coming up? And now this is another example of him just writing a woman that is just a nothing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they did the new episodes of the Twilight Zone in the 80s.
Yeah.
There's one, I think, that was something similar.
Yeah.
That theme where a kid was a genie or something, and he wished that his mom would do whatever he wanted her to, and she was just a complete robot. So he would have to spell out step by step.
Interesting.
Seemed like there was a little bit of that going on here. Would you like me to give you a back rub? I'm going to get your slippers. I'm going to do that. He was just constantly just being
bothered. Well, that's an
by,
interesting idea. I wonder if that's going to be an original episode that they've been remade for that one.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
I do know that this episode was remade specifically for the 80s version.
Really?
And I guess the woman that was desperately in love was the creepy high school girl from Manhattan. Have you seen that Woody Allen movie?
I have not.
It's actually like Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter.
Oh, Muriel Hemingway?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
There we go. I didn't understand when it went to commercial. I thought like a day had passed, but then later they revealed that it had been 6 months.
Oh, 6 months, exactly. That's where I was too.
In that crazy marriage.
And it
that's
seemed like
when
they were in the
suicidal.
same house too, kind of. It didn't seem like they switched sets. I didn't really understand.
Yeah. So could you have lived in this environment?
Yes. Because she was a beautiful 60s woman.
She was a beautiful 60s woman.
Yeah.
Even after 6 months of marriage and that whole thing?
I like annoying girls. So she seems perfect. Absolutely perfect.
A part of me wanted this episode to get really dark and just to see how mean he could get with her.
That was the thing. He always stayed really good-natured about it, kind of. You could tell he's getting exasperated to the point where he was going to kill her. But
in a comedic, lighthearted way.
Yeah.
I went back and actually listened to the wizard's speech again. I'm just going to call him the wizard. I don't know. Quentin Tarantino's speech again in the beginning. Just to try and find out, like, does he explain that this is a death potion? It's always kind of implied, but they all just call it glove cleaner.
Yeah.
It's the most confusing thing. I didn't know what the hell it was going to do. So in Rod Serling's closing address, he explains that love can be as unpalatable as a hunk of spoiled yeast.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving this episode a 7.
Yeah, me too. I thought that the performances were really good in it. I thought that Leela, the actress, did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
She was really cold and kind of cruel when she kept slamming the door in his face and saying she didn't like him. But yeah, she did great.
And the wizard was sitting on their porch smoking and blowing heart shape.
Yeah. You could tell that the actor who was the wizard did not want to be up on that ladder. Because at one point he's like, this is a really rickety looking ladder set. And he's like pushing away trying to get the love potion. And he's like kind of moving along and the ladder looks like it's going to fall at any second. And he's like fumbling around for that potion.
Yeah.
You could tell, he just wants to get down as soon as possible.
It's funny. I was reading about the creation of this episode, and I guess the writer cited this episode as a great example of just how much freedom they had on the show, because he just wrote in his script, like, and you know, the bookcases and like the potion racks, it's really, really high. And it's just like this crazy set. And then I guess Rod Serling's like, all right, that's what you want. We'll fight CBS for it. And they just waged this war to get that crazy, exaggerated look for...
Listen, CBS, we do short sets around here. If you don't like it, you can lump it.
Cool. All right, next episode.
A Passage for Trumpet.
It's the worst name ever. I had low expectations when this one started. We'll see where it goes.
Well, it starts off with a guy is on top of a roof, fingering a trumpet, not playing it, and you see in silhouette there's a band playing, and then this guy comes out who's with the band, and he's like, hey, I recognize you, and lo and behold, we learned that the trumpet player that we were introduced to in the very beginning, he's kind of a drunk. He's kind of had it. When he's drunk, he's really good, but when he's sober, he sucks. So he goes to a pawn shop, sells his trumpet, and then throws himself in front of a truck. And suddenly he thinks everyone's ignoring him. He's a ghost. Yeah. He's like, goes to the movie theater lady and she's not paying any attention to him, which seems a common theme in the Twilight Zone. That's like the first person who ignores you is the person selling tickets at the movie theater. But so then he meets a guy who's also playing the trumpet and he recognizes him. They have a quick conversation. You learn the guy's name is Gabe and he's not really dead. He's kind of in the middle. So it's like you decide, do you want to live? Do you want to die? And he says, I want to live. And he comes back to life. And the guy who hit him with the truck is like, let me be a good guy. I haven't had any accidents. Don't talk to a doctor or nothing. Buys his trumpet back. Credits.
There we go. It's a beautiful story.
That sucked.
It sucked so bad. When it started out, I was like, okay, this is clearly just Serling wanting to flex his muscles a little bit in the writing. He's going to be this dramatic character. He's played by Jack Klugman. Yeah. Hunk of yeast. If you ask me. Yeah.
The worst part for me is you lose me immediately because you got a guy pretending to play a musical instrument and I cannot tolerate that.
Because you're just watching his finger.
You're either in or you're out because it looks like a little kid in an airband contest. It's no good.
And there's a scene at the beginning where he's kind of just like sucking on the end of the trumpet in like a weird phallic way.
That's crazy. And then when the gate, like, hey, what's your name? Gabe. I guess you could call me Gabriel. It's like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's that connection.
Halo of light from above.
Yeah, it's technically a callback, I guess, because he talked about like Gabriel's trumpet at the beginning of the episode. But the actor who played Gabriel also looked a lot like Abraham Lincoln. And so the entire time I was rooting for just an absurd twist where it turns out that Abraham Lincoln was his guide and played the trumpet.
Or you find the trumpet player is John Wilkes Booth. Oh, my Lord.
God, that scene of the accident when he throws himself in front of the truck looked like crap.
Oh, God, it does that zoom shot to the lady?
Yes.
Her reaction?
Which you see twice, actually, because when he comes back out of the weird coma limbo state, they show that stupid shot of the lady screaming one more time.
Yeah. Something I didn't understand is he goes to a bar, of course.
Yeah.
And he pours himself a shot. As Gabriel explains, they don't know that they're ghosts yet or whatever.
Yeah.
So does that guy think that he's tending bar and just the shot glass is like, and do it? Or is he just not paying attention?
I don't know. That's a good question. I did like that twist where he wasn't dead. Everybody else was dead.
Yeah.
And it
was like a reverse elegy.
Yeah. I guess you could look at it that way. And they just wanted to keep them in that state because it made them more comfortable or something as they transitioned to being dead. That was a much more interesting concept than this asshole playing his trumpet. Like, just focus on those people and their slow descent into realizing they're dead. That's cool.
Yeah.
Not this crap.
And when he got drunk... Yeah. All he did was like do like an exaggerated "Your Highness" when some lady walked by and it's like, hey, you're not an awful drunk.
No, it could be worse.
You could play the trumpet and just like crash on a cot. That's not a bad way to live.
Also, at the end, like he comes back to life and suddenly he can play the trumpet beautifully, even when he's sober.
I guess.
And like he falls in love with a lady. There's some lady on his roof that's like,
oh God,
show me around town, sir.
I will. If you look over there, there's Harlem. Look down here. There's a bridge. I don't know. He doesn't do that.
No, there's no conversations about his crippling alcoholism at the end. Like that's just completely glossed over. Like, oh, now he's just fine because he saw Gabriel.
So you just moved to town. You just moved. You didn't see me in front of a car recently, did you? Okay, good.
All right, I guess one of 4.
Yeah, I get this one a 5. My notes for this one, I'm trying to keep like short notes.
Yeah.
Were 4 Z's, symbolizing snoring.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Pretty easy to
scribble on a napkin. That's the creepiest thing.
Yeah, you know.
All right, next episode is one called Mr. Bevis. And this stars a fusion of Bill Nye the Science Guy and Jim Riley, who is kind of an oddball, eccentric. Kids love him in the neighborhood. No one else really likes him. He goes into work, realizes that he's getting fired. His life's crumbling down around him. And then he gets a magical guide. Again, 2 episodes with guides in a row. And the guide says, like, hey, I've been following your ancestors. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to improve your life. And so he changes Beavis's life to be proper and prim and like, you know, a normal member of society. Beavis realizes that he hates it. He wants his old wacky lifestyle back. And he realizes that oddballs can be loved after all.
Oh, yeah. And what an oddball. Zither music is one of his defining characteristics.
What was it?
He's really into zither music.
Is that something they talk about?
Oh, yeah. They won't shut up about it.
What is zither music?
I don't know. So it's like a zither is like a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Is apparently even then it was passé. And he's into like taxidermy and like weird statues.
It gets weirder because I think it's Rod Serling's narration. Yeah, it must be in the beginning. They're like listing all the crap that Mr. Bevis is into.
Oh yeah,
and they say,
this is great.
Like stuffed animals, moose heads, guitars, young ladies.
Yeah,
it's at the very end where it's like, wait, what? This is an important detail, Rod.
Yeah.
But now he's cool. He's having a good time.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's just Bevis.
So the name stood out so much. Like I thought, man, Mike Judge must be a fan.
Yeah.
Of Twilight Zone, and you must have seen this, and this is where the name Bevis comes from Beavis and Butthead, but I looked it up, and no.
No, there's a kid named Bevis.
Some kid that Mike Judd used to know. Yeah. So like there's this weird scene where he is at the top of the stairs, which are the stairs from Nightmare from a Child.
Oh yeah, those are fallen stairs.
Yes.
I saw those. I was like, oh Beavis, don't do it, because you're gonna see an angel.
But not this time. But there's also impressive stunt work with the dude who slides down, because the kid goes, hey, what's up, Mr. Bevis? And he goes something like, well, why not? And then he slides down and racks his nuts at the end of it and rolls out into the street into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
And then has kids push his car to get it started, but all the kids just look directly into the camera as they're running by.
Oh, yeah, and then they're treated as a reward. Here's a bunch of exhaust just right in your faces.
So, yeah, you mentioned the taxidermy. Like, his desk is just covered in weird animals, and, like, the boss is kind of walking by looking at his desk, and we're supposed to be sympathetic to Bevis at this point, but it's so weird that this guy's into taxidermy that I feel more on the boss's side of things.
Well, he shows in, he's like way late, and everyone he works with is just totally cool with it.
Yeah.
And he's got like, his desk is like the Bates Motel. And his boss is like, your numbers don't add up. You're doing all this silly crap.
You have weird racist clocks on your desk.
I want it at the carnival. He wears like a plaid suit and a bow tie just to give you a visual.
Yeah.
And
I was really rooting against Bevis the entire time.
Yeah, when he was cool, Bevis.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not so great.
His car is parked outside.
Right.
It apparently is hooked onto the bumper of another car. It's not like it's a tow truck. It's just the bumper's locked up. And so the first car takes off. His car then takes off with it and then rolls and is totaled.
And the cop is just upset. Like, way to go, douchebag.
He's just the worst cop in the world. Just the biggest dick. Where he just like blames Bevis for his car being attached to this other car's bumper.
Yeah.
Like it's his fault, and then just no help whatsoever.
Yeah, and like we learned that Bevis had lost. This is like what, the 6th job in 11 months, or the 11th job in, I don't know. And he changes jobs frequently. Apparently, he was 6 months overdue in rent.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. So when he came home with all of his stuff after getting fired, no car, he had been evicted.
Right.
So the second chance was kind of a big deal. I don't know. It seemed really boring.
And
but
then he didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. He had like a cool car. The kids weren't really into him, which is like,
And those young ladies were no longer looking at him.
Yeah, exactly. The forbidden fruit of Mr. Bevis. Sheesh.
I like the detail that you get a guardian angel if you do something daring or brave. So that's why he had one, because his ancestors just kept doing super brave things.
Right.
They ran down all of them like, oh, your great uncle stormed the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, and it was him, like the same actor with stupid costumes.
Of course, yeah. So the idea is that like the guardian angel accepts Bevis as well, and just you have to factor in like all of heaven apparently accepts Bevis and his wacky child molesting ways in this strange universe. Hey, look, I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions here, but I like the part.
It's one for the ages. Just some people hang out with kids. You know what I mean?
That's it.
It's not a big deal. Jeez.
But the angel implies that like, the big guy upstairs was a fan of when you brought those Christmas carolers into the office.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun little detail, but it couldn't save the episode overall.
It's like a nightmare place to work. You get this joker.
So I gave this one a 5.
Really? I gave it a 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that?
One whole point.
You're not sick of the guide structure yet for every episode?
I don't know. I like that clock that he won at the carnival with the scary eyes. Yeah.
All right, next one.
The After Hours.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Big one.
I don't know if I can do this one quickly. I'm going to try.
You need to.
Okay. Woman in a department store. She's kind of walking around aimlessly. She wants to go find a thimble for her mom. She takes the elevator up to the 9th floor, which is abandoned. The elevator guy leaves her. There's only one person there on the floor. She's acting super weird. They only happen to have one item on that floor. It happens to be a gold thimble. She goes down after buying it. It's super strange exchange. Oh no, it's scratched and everything.
Yeah.
Wait a second, that floor doesn't exist. The management tells her when she tries to make an exchange. Then she passes out because she sees the lady, and the lady was a mannequin. She comes to, the store is closed, keeps hearing voices, and as it turns out, she herself is a mannequin. And what happens is the mannequins take turns. They get to go into the human world once a month.
Yeah, they get one
month out of the year. Yeah, and they rotate. And she was like a day due. And then it was another lady's turn. She leaves, and then she's a mannequin.
And everyone's happy for her.
Ta-da! The After Hours.
I'm a fan of this episode. I liked in the beginning how I'd seen this one before. Had you seen it before?
Yeah.
So you knew the twist coming up. Okay. Yeah. I wonder how obvious it would be on the first time viewing it, because it does a pretty good job right in the beginning of staying nice and vague. Like she doesn't know what's going on. She's always a little bit confused when they ask her something about her past, but not. It's in a very subtle way. It's not in the over the top Twilight Zone way where it's, oh God, I can't remember anything. She's just like, I think this is what I need, but everything's just a little bit off throughout the entire episode.
Right.
And when she goes up onto that 9th floor and the lady sells her the thimble, she goes like, she has this line where she goes, well, well, you may be a little more sophisticated than I am, but this I call odd.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, just ignore it. And then I was confused about that. She just like fell asleep on the couch.
Well, she passed out.
Yeah.
And the store, like, employees, they put her on the couch, and there was some confusion because, like, another boss came in and said, we're closing down, it's time. So in that confusion, all the employees left.
Right.
Because the woman had said, like, oh, she's over in my or whatever.
And then she, like, presses her face up against the door and is, like, screaming for help because she's
that was a cool shot.
It's so awesome. Then it shoots from the other side of the door. Yeah. It's that weird kind of pixelated, distorted look. Yeah, I thought that it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And then the entire time she's wandering around in this department store at night, which is already... it's so creepy. And there's no music throughout that entire scene. It was just the mannequin slowly whispering her name.
What are you doing?
It's a little Toy Story-esque. Like, why don't the mannequins just come alive and stop scaring their friend?
Oh, and they got their scary faces.
Yeah. And the one dude's stupid arm moves at a certain point for the ultimate scary bit. And then she goes up in the elevator, and the elevator doors open, and that lady's standing right there.
Yeah.
This, I think, takes the cake from... Originally, it was a roller coaster episode with Maya the Cat Girl, and then it was Nightmare of a Child. But I think this is my new freakiest episode.
This, I have to say, that's my weak spot. Yeah. Are like ventriloquist dummies and mannequins.
Okay.
And like disembodied eyeballs. That's a different one. But like that just really gets me. And they kept doing those creepy shots.
Yeah.
And those completely fucked up skiers.
Yes.
With those ski masks were the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
That wasn't a real fashion thing back then, was it?
I don't know.
I didn't know what the hell.
Oh,
it was like
my God.
A weird Mexican wrestler ski mask.
And like that weird nose, pointy nose. It was awful. There's a shot where both of them are in the frame at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Right.
And there's a moment too when they all wave off, like it gets this kind of like lighthearted tone when it's like, okay, it's your turn. See you later, guys. I'll see you in a month. And everyone goes and waves goodbye. And one of the skiers does the dopiest like la 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 floppy wrist thing. But still, it was burned in my mind. Like that guy's scary.
So we were talking before we recorded this, before we finished watching all of those, and you were saying like, oh man, in this bunch, there is one moment that really stands out as being absolutely crazy. And so as I was watching it, this was the first moment where I thought, is this what Cork's talking about? Those creepy skiers?
No.
Okay. There's still a moment. There's only a couple that could be coming up in the other episodes, but I'm looking forward to figure out what the hell you were talking about. Because you can't do that to somebody. Because I just watched every episode then thinking like, is this the scene? Like, this is crazy.
I did.
I ended up giving After Hours an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
This one, here's what I wrote in my notes. On this one, my Twilight Zone scale, I give it a 10. This is like a fantastic episode.
I thought you were going the other way for a second.
Love this episode.
It certainly stands out in this batch of crap.
This is one of those episodes where if someone's like, Twilight Zone, that's like a sci-fi thing or whatever. Yeah. This is one that I would show someone without any hesitation being like, this summarizes, I think, like the best of the show.
Everything that's great about it.
Fantastic. I think performances are really good. There's that really creepy sense of unease throughout the whole thing. And then it does the thing too, which is another like super creepy thing for me, is when you see a person and then you see them in mannequin form.
Yes.
Which I know that we see this later. There's like an episode later on. I want to get into it. No, I have seen it does the same thing, and that's Creep City as well.
They do a pretty good job of making that mannequin.
She looks really good.
Yeah.
So
I think the mole helps on the face and whatnot, but her eyes were a little bit off in the final shot as it slowly zoomed in on her dumb face.
Yeah.
And then like that
creepy captain, pretty good.
Oh yeah. But then the employee at the department store like just breaks the fourth wall, looks into the camera as he notices the mannequin is the lady he helped the previous day. And
can we talk about the manager for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no ninth floor.
Yeah, a lot of shameless mugging with him. I don't know, like, if the actor, when he read it, was kind of he's fussy.
Yeah.
And was just like, okay, I'm going to play him as, a fruity guy.
Trying to steal the show away from the mannequins.
Exactly. And he just makes these, like, prissy faces, like, a lot of that going on. It's pretty good.
All right, next episode. It's called The Mighty Casey. It is about a baseball team.
Yep.
It frames it as if it takes place.
The Zephyrs.
Yeah, there we go. The Hoboken Zephyrs.
Yep.
And it takes place in the past, right? And so, crappy baseball team. They set up the premise. The coach is down on his luck, yada, yada, yada. Suddenly, a pitcher tries out who's escorted by a strange old man. And the pitcher is unbelievably good. Turns out the pitcher is a robot. They go on a winning streak. And then the doctor says that because he's a robot, he can't play on the team. And so they give him a heart, which makes him not a robot. But then, since he has a heart, he learns empathy, and he doesn't want to make the other teams lose, so he doesn't want to pitch anymore, and the team disbands.
Ta-da!
There we go. So another moment that I thought, is this the shot Cork's talking about? Is when the tall, dopey robot pitcher walks up, and there's a dumb shot of him just looking around, and the ball slowly comes in and hits him on the head. And he just has a dopey expression throughout the entire thing. And I thought, oh, that's funny. Is that so funny to Cork that he would say it's a standout moment? All right. Apparently it's not.
No.
I also thought you'd get a kick out of every time he pitched his curveball that used a slide whistle. That's so stupid.
Oh, they look at their watch for the slow ball. Like, can you believe it?
I don't understand. Why are slow balls tough to hit? Wouldn't they be easier
Because you
to hit?
anticipate like a regular speed, I'm assuming.
But if they're going so slow as they imply, wouldn't that just be would it just be like hitting it off a tee?
I suppose you could recover from your initial, well, I guess you do your strike and that's that. So you don't get to keep swinging at it.
Oh, maybe. Look, we don't know anything
not
about
a baseball guy.
So did you know exactly where this episode was going?
No. I thought it was like Frankenstein's monster at first because the guy was clearly being led around by like this brainiac.
Yeah.
And that vacant look on his face and immediately gets beamed. And it's just like, boing.
They like a newspaper flies in the screen later and it says like, oh, Casey got beamed. And that's why he had to go to the hospital. And the doctor realized that he was a robot. Do you know what that means?
Beamed?
Yeah.
Oh, getting hit.
I had never heard that expression before
in the head
in my
with
life.
a baseball, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Oh, apparently I'm an idiot. That's all right.
That's all right.
So the actor who plays the coach, did he look familiar to you?
No.
Come on, Cork. You're losing your edge. He's the guy from The Lonely. He's the guy that's stranded on the asteroid. It's the same dude.
What?
Yeah. It's the same actor.
Really?
But I did a little reading about this one, and the interesting detail is that they shot this entire episode with an actor who was breathing heavily as they were shooting it, and right after they finished shooting, the guy had a heart attack and died. And so Rod Serling wanted to go back and reshoot the entire episode because he realized that when they aired it, that was all everybody was going to think about was like, oh, God, this actor died immediately after this. And it would ruin kind of like the lighthearted atmosphere of the entire episode because it's a very jokey episode.
Oh, it's the jokiest.
So they brought in this actor who they'd worked out with before on The Lonely.
It would have made sense if it was the guy who all he was doing was jumping jacks for like the first 10 minutes of the episode in the background.
Yeah, and then like the coach walks by and was like, all right, I see you. Stop trying to impress me. Kind of thing.
And then the like lame-o pitcher would like get the like gammy leg or something. After he'd pitch, he'd like his leg would straighten out and then he'd like rub it.
Oh boy.
What a bunch of losers.
I did like when he met the robot for the first time, he shakes his hand and there's just like this weird scene of his hand cracking and him just like moaning, and then it like fades out to commercial and then fades back in and he's still shaking the guy's hands.
Oh, and he just rubs it.
Yeah.
For a long time afterward. It's like, okay, we get it. This guy's real strong.
And so he tries to keep it secret that this dude's a robot.
Right.
Because he realizes that robots probably aren't allowed in the league.
Yeah.
And then the best part of though is that like they bring him to a doctor and he's at the doctor's office for a while with a doctor like, shining the light in his eyes and all that crap. Still not realizing that he's a robot. Like it takes to the point of the doctor using his stethoscope to realize he doesn't have a heart before he realizes that this thing is actually a robot. Which
what's even better than that, in the background is like a Tin Man style oil can in that shot.
Really?
Yeah. Like, why was that in the doctor's office? Okay.
I like the guy who built the robot looked at the doctor at a certain point and he goes, he's a robot. And the doctor goes, are you sure?
Of course I built him. Yeah.
That's so dorky.
Yeah. And the heart, from what we could only hear it, it sounded like a watch. It didn't sound like a thump.
Yeah, I was waiting for the thump of a heart.
Tick 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 tick. It was like just something that makes a like repetitive sound is good enough for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
In the Twilight Zone.
Did you think this episode was funny?
I would say that it had like a really good-natured feel. It wasn't funny. It was like a lot of Disney cartoons, I think. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like, oh, okay, that's nice. It was a little on the nose.
Yeah. There's a one bit where he's spelling out the word robot, the coach is.
ROBBOTT.
Was that supposed to be funny? Just like emphasizing that he's just a dumb baseball guy?
I don't know.
Also, one of the guys calls him a robot. which I am a big fan of. I don't know when that fell out of fashion. When did people forget the robot and just go with robot?
I don't know.
Because we need to bring that back.
Remember Mr. Show? He had a friendly robot.
Okay. Yeah, it's a funny, wacky way of saying it. So I guess originally this was going to star the Dodgers back when they were on the East Coast. Because it's very confusing at the end. They imply that like the team.
Because he got the plans.
He got the plans to build more Casey the robots.
Right. But
then the idea is that the team was disbanded and it kind of formed up on the West Coast as another team that they left vague, kind of trying to imply like, some people in the current baseball league are robots. And I guess that was the idea, is they wanted it to hint that it was then was it the LA Dodgers? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. When they moved to the West Coast, I guess they had an amazing pitching team, and that was kind of like the inside joke about the whole thing, was that they wanted to imply that those people were robots.
A man died for that shitty joke. Jeez.
All right. I ended up giving this one a 5.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much more to say about it.
Not really. I did think it was kind of funny whenever they showed the pitching. They cut out uncomfortably early. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't show the ball ever leaving his hand. You'll get that moment where you feel like, okay, I don't need to see what the ball actually does because it's going to do stupid crap like with a slide whistle. But he would just pull back like he was getting ready to it. You wouldn't see anything close to pitching.
It's just the actor was apparently so bad in his form of pitching that you could tell at a certain point they had to cut it way before that.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah. I noticed that too. That was really weird. But then he learned to feel togetherness. So everything was okay in the world. And he became a social worker.
And he got a big dopey smile.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Next one is A World of His Own.
This
is on you, man.
A best-selling playwright. Hanging out with a lady. She's making a martini. Is it perfect? It's delicious. Suddenly, horrible shrew of a wife peeks through the window and connives her way into her own home, catches her husband in the act. The woman is gone. What happened? They have this back and forth. Well, come to find out, he's able to bring characters from his plays into real life by speaking into his voice transcriber thing. She doesn't believe him. She tries to leave. He summons an elephant using the thing. She still doesn't believe it. She's going to take him for all he's worth. So he says, you want to do this? Because he gets rid of the characters by burning the piece of audio tape. Yeah. She's like, oh, whatever. So he opens a safe. It has her name on it. And then she dares him or she flings it in the fire. And then she says, oh, I don't feel good. Poof. She disappears. And then he sits down and starts describing Mary, the woman from the very beginning, the lovely character with blonde hair and a pleasing disposition, nice figure, attractive haircut. Full blouse, or blouse, or an old-timey blouse, and a brooch and a peasant skirt. You just, Scene.
But wait.
Is
this the moment you're talking about? This is the moment. All right. This has to be the moment. So then, the awesome twist at the end of this episode.
Super double twist.
Is that Rod Serling
does his outro.
Does his outro, and he appears on camera in episode for the first time.
Yep.
This is the first appearance. We finally got there. And the twist is that Gregory Watts, or whatever his name is, the playwright, then says, hold on a second there, Rod.
Because Rod says something like the whole concept is ludicrous, but only in the Twilight Zone or something.
Right. And then he burns the tape that says Rod Serling, and Rod Serling says, that's the way it goes. And fades out. And so I guess the idea is that within the world of the Twilight Zone, if you want to take this super literally, is that Gregory the playwright is writing every episode of the Twilight Zone. Isn't that what it implies? If he created Rod Serling, and Rod Serling is supposedly the creator of the show and introduces every episode.
Could very well be.
So it's all a framed narrative based on this playwright who is fond of red-eyed elephants.
Red-eyed elephants and guardian angels. Personification of death.
Jesus. This morning I was thinking again about this episode. This entire episode just takes place in that one room.
Yeah. Well, you see hallway with the elephant very briefly. And that one
super
room,
tortured elephant.
Is that the same room from 16mm Shrine? I didn't go over it too closely, but
which room would that
the main viewing room that she was in?
No, I don't think so. Okay. No. But yeah, the audio tape was a weird detail. Why wouldn't it be him typing it out and then burning the pages. Like, I wonder if that's the way Rod Serling wrote, was just like recorded his voice on tape.
Maybe it just seemed like super badass when he could do that, you know?
Just to speak it out loud. Maybe it's better on camera?
Yeah, because then he could describe it. Otherwise, instead of just like licking his fingers, going tap, 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 tap. Mary is a...
I guess so. And so the twist is that, his wife is also one of his creations, but I'm still confused about, like, she doesn't really remember being created because it was so long ago, but he implies that, like, this is the first time that she has broken free.
Yeah, because all of his characters at some point would disobey him. That's how he knew that he had a good character.
Right.
And she was awful.
But yeah, I like that we're immediately on the side of the guy who's cheating on his wife, just because they make the wife just such this wacky character who's trying to catch him in his lies.
Yeah, just a window peeper.
And so she finds out, or he like begins to tell her about Mary, and they're all fully in the know, and she realizes that she's a character, or like is trying to understand this concept. And Gregory, the playwright, just keeps saying, like, we'll work it out. Like, we'll work it out between the three of us. I was kind of implying that maybe he's trying to get some weird threesome or some sort of complicated marriage going on.
I know that it's not fully explained. Couldn't he just start over and go, Mary, attractive frame, pleasing face, into open marriage, brooches and long skirts?
It'd be so easy. Yeah. This guy's God, and he's blowing it.
He's blowing it in a pretty significant way. He's pretty much the loneliest dude when you think about it. Do you notice by his fireplace, there's a little picture, and it looked like Kim Jong-il with a guitar.
Really?
I'm not joking.
I missed that. Gregory himself reminded me of Walt Disney.
Oh.
A certain Walt Disney sweater-esque look.
Yeah.
What'd you end up giving this one, Cork?
I give this one an 8. I thought it was kind of a cute concept. I liked... Again, I think performances, I think they need to maybe, I'm hoping like future seasons, they kind of ease off on the horrible wife character, because they're really getting a lot of mileage out of that one.
Yeah, that is a strong recurring theme. I ended up giving this one a 7.
Yeah?
Mainly, I think 3 of those points came from the twist with Rod Serling.
I will say though.
Yeah.
The moment that Rod Serling plants his ass on that desk.
Yeah.
That ending, I give that a 10. That moment there,
because it's so stupid.
It's the dumbest thing. It's like aggressively dumb. It's outstanding that they like he must have thought he was so cute when he wrote that.
Oh, just the best. And this really has me thinking, like, if he didn't want to get across this crappy joke about him being burned alive and disappearing or whatever, would he have appeared on camera? I'm assuming in the second season. I haven't watched it yet, but I assume the second season is when he's going to start being on camera for every episode.
Yeah.
And so did that all start just because he wanted to get this joke across?
Yeah, it could very well be.
Did people back then know who he was?
I don't know.
I think I'd be confused.
Yeah. They'd be like, who's this? Yeah.
What is going on? This episode's already confusing.
Who is this guy sitting on the desk? Now, one of the episodes of this batch, too, I don't recall which one, it, had a different opening title sequence as well.
Well, what's interesting is, I guess several of them do have different opening title sequences, but when you're rolling through them on Netflix, it always automatically skips the intro. So I don't know if some previous ones have had that new opening, which I guess is the season 2 opening that they then put back on the season 1 episodes for some reason when it was being rebroadcast. So they could have happened earlier. We just couldn't have caught it because it skips it. So that's it for the first season, man.
First season. So I think next episode, we're going to be doing something a little special.
It's a weird bonus episode.
We're going to do the first annual Franklin Awards, where we're going to award prizes. Not really prizes, but we're going to...
so we're going to call it the Franklins.
Right.
And we're going to come up with a bunch of different categories and give out awards for the best episodes, the worst episodes, standout scenes. And Cork and I are going to be spitballing some really dumb kind of... No.
Smart.
Super smart kind of special awards.
Absolutely.
What would you call those?
Awards of distinction.
There we go.
Yes.
For standout moments and scenes and everything like that.
So maybe in the comments, if there's anything that you've been playing along at home, if there's something that stands out to you, like a fun category and a winner, if you want to put those down in the comments, feel free to, and we may give you a little shout out.
Yeah. What was your one example, Cork? Is like most
hysterical woman.
Most hysterical woman. Yeah. Mine was like best rapid zoom.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you got any wacky ideas, be sure to let us know, and then we're going to record that one and post it. It'll probably be pretty short, but
best misogyny, I think, would be a pretty good one. That's going to be a pretty full category.
Does the elephant count?
Yeah. Woof.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time in the Twilight Highlight Zone.
Twilight
Zone.